I can't believe what's happening with this defense. Did you see what Kyle Pitts did to our linebackers on Sunday? And that's not all. While Jaden Daniels is still out, Marcus Mariota is carrying a responsibility that could define our season. But wait, because we also have news that will give you hope. The trade Adam Peters made for a certain left tackle is getting better every day. If you think you know the whole story, you're crazy. Stay until the end because what's coming will surprise you. This defense has me on the edge of my seat. I'm telling you this, after years of watching this team suffer in crucial moments. I thought we finally found the formula with Joe Witt Jr., but nitrogen monoxide way. Tight ends keep eating us alive week after week. Kyle Pitts did whatever he wanted on Sunday, and I think this is no coincidence. It's a pattern that's killing our aspiration. Do you remember when we thought Bobby Wagner was going to be the solution? I respect that legend. With over 1,400 tackles in his career and 8 Pro Bowl selections. But asking him to cover athletic tight ends in 2025 is like asking a classic Mustang to compete in Formula One. The numbers don't lie. Wagner no longer has the range to follow these modern receivers in open space. Do you know how many yards we've allowed to tight ends this season? Over 380 yards in just 4 games. That's almost 100 yards per game. And I ask you, is this how we're going to compete with Dallas and Philadelphia? And let's talk about Jordan McGee and rookie Kane Medrano. Do you know what's most frustrating about all this? The athleticism is there. I see the pursuit plays and get excited. McGee running sideline to sideline like a guided missile. But when it comes time to read routes or understand leverage and coverage, that's where it kills us. Medrano has talent. He was picked in the 5th round specifically for his athletic upside. But he's learning at NFL speed, and that learning curve is costing us games we need to win. And do you know what's the craziest part of all this? We brought reinforcements specifically for this. Adam Peters spent significant capital in free agency to bring in Quan Martin and Darnell Savage Jr. Martin came with credentials from Buffalo, where he played in one of the best defensive systems in the league. Savage came from Green Bay with proven coverage experience. They came to give our secondary flexibility to cover exactly these mismatches that are killing us every Sunday. But I ask you, where were they on Sunday? Martin struggling to get in phase with Pitts on inside routes, allowing separation that a safety of his caliber simply can't allow. Savage looking timid and disconnected from the rest of the coverage, as if he were playing a different game from the rest of his teammates. Do you think Dan Quinn isn't worried seeing this on film? I'm telling you this. The salary cap hit of these 2 players combined is over $8 million this season. While the Cowboys continue with their drama of Jerry Jones paying inflated contracts to declining players, and the Eagles thought their high-profile moves would dominate us, we have a real problem that rival coordinators are marking with red ink. Arthur Smith in Atlanta didn't have to do anything creative. He just put Pitts on basic routes and let our coverage bust do the work. Every week it's the same. Tight ends eat us up. Move the chains, convert their downs, and keep our defense on the field until they are physically and mentally exhausted. Did you see the difference in time of possession against Atlanta? They controlled the ball for over 34 minutes. That's unsustainable. And do you know what worries me the most? That this is not just a talent problem, it's a scheme and communication problem. When I see Wagner signaling coverage pre-snap and then see Savage running in the opposite direction, I think we have fundamental issues in our system. Joe Witt Jr. has to make tough decisions because if we can't stop basic tight ends, what's going to happen when we face Travis Kelce in the playoffs? Or when the Cowboys put Jake Ferguson in similar situations? If that frustrates you, wait to hear about our backup quarterback. Marcus Mariota is carrying the weight of keeping our season alive, and I think not everyone understands the telescopic pressure he's under. After seeing Jaden Daniels shine as Rookie of the Year in 2024, with over 3,400 passing yards, 800 rushing, and taking us to the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Now Marcus has to maintain that level while our franchise quarterback of the future recovers from a rib injury that has him out indefinitely. Do you think that's easy? I'm telling you this. Mariota came here as a veteran, signed a 2-year contract for $6.2 million, specifically to be a mentor and reliable backup. No one expected him to have to carry the offense in September, but here we are. And he has responded in a way that makes me optimistic about our chances of staying competitive. I watched the game against Atlanta, and although we didn't win, Mariota showed exactly why Dan Quinn trusts him in high-pressure situations. His numbers weren't spectacular, 18 of 29 for 186 yards. 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. But I ask you, how many backups in this league can maintain those efficiency numbers against a defense that limited Josh Allen to less than 100 yards 2 weeks ago? Do you remember that 2-point play at the end? That's pure experience and poise. Quinn himself said it in the press conference. Marcus was prepared, made plays, and in those high-pressure situations is where he is exceptional. And I think Quinn is right. Mariota has been in these situations before. Played playoffs with Tennessee. Took Oregon to the championship game in college. But here comes what worries me and where I think we need to be realistic. 3rd down conversions. Mariota himself acknowledged it after the game. And I respect that honesty. We need to stay on the field on 3rd down to help our defense. The numbers are brutally honest. 3 of 11 on 3rd downs against Atlanta. Do you know what that means? That we're putting immense pressure on a defense that's already struggling against tight ends. And there's the connection that worries me. When the offense has a 3-and-out early, the momentum shifts to the opponent. Our defense comes out tired and frustrated. And with the weaknesses we've already discussed, it's the perfect recipe for disaster. It's a vicious cycle that I've seen destroy promising seasons. Do you see what I see? While the Giants are still looking for stability at quarterback after the disaster class, that was the Daniel Jones era. And the Eagles rely completely on Jalen Hurts without a reliable backup that inspires confidence. We have Mariota, who already showed in his first season here that he can keep the ship afloat when the waters get rough. But I ask you something. Is it fair to ask him to perform miracles with a defense that can't get off the field? Quinn said it clearly in the press conference. We can't win by exchanging field goals. We need touchdowns, and that responsibility is not just on Marcus. It's on the entire offense to execute better in the red zone. It's on Cliff Kingsbury to adjust the playbook. It's on our receivers to create more consistent separation. I believe Mariota can do more than he showed against Atlanta. The problem is not him as an individual player. It's all of us as a team failing in execution at critical moments. Did you see how Terry McLaurin had only 4 receptions for 32 yards? How our running game, which was supposed to be a strength with Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, only produced 96 yards on 24 carries? Now I ask you this, and I want you to think carefully about the answer. Do you trust Mariota to take us against the Chargers this Sunday? Because I'm telling you this, if our defense doesn't solve the tight end problem, and if we can't establish the running game to control time of possession, not even Tom Brady at his best could save us from a season slipping through our fingers. And when you thought we were done with the bad news, let me tell you about the one decision by Adam Peters that's aging like premium Napa Valley wine. The trade for Laremy Tunsil wasn't just smart, it's getting better every day. And you won't believe what just happened in Houston. That makes this trade look like the heist of the century in modern NFL after years, and I mean years, of watching our quarterbacks run for their lives behind offensive lines that looked like revolving doors. Peters recognized a fundamental truth. If Jaden Daniels was going to establish himself among the NFL elite after his historic rookie year, he needed one of the best blindside protectors in the league. And not only did he get him, he stole him. But I'm going to explain exactly why this trade is genius from a salary cap and team building perspective. Tunsil came here with a 5-year contract for $76 million, which sounds expensive until you analyze the market. Do you know how much other teams are paying for left tackles of his caliber? Trent Williams in San Francisco, $23 million per year. Tyron Smith when he was healthy in Dallas, $18 million. We got Tunsil for an average of $15.2 million, and that's absolute value in the current market. Tunsil's numbers speak for themselves and have me excited about our future. 87.7 points in pass blocking according to Pro Football Focus. 4th place among 105 qualifying tackles in the entire NFL. Only 1 sack allowed and just for pressures in 197 offensive snaps. I'm telling you this, those are elite absolute numbers. Numbers that protect franchise quarterback investments. But do you know what excites me the most? The consistency. In his last 3 seasons with Houston, Tunsil allowed an average of 3.7 sacks per season. Compare that to what we were seeing before. Charles Leno allowing 7 sacks in 2023. Cornelius Lucas being a complete liability every time he had to step in. It's a world of difference. But here comes the really crazy part. And this has me laughing at how badly the Texans played their cards. They thought they could replace Tunsil with Cam Robinson. Do you know what happened with that brilliant strategy? Robinson was a healthy scratch in Week 4 against Tennessee. A left tackle who was supposedly going to be an upgrade. Can't even dress to play against the worst pass rush in the division. And now, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, Houston just traded Robinson to Cleveland practically for free, just for a swap of late picks in 2027. I'm telling you this, that's organizational malpractice by the Texans. Traded away a 4-time Pro Bowler to bring in someone who can't even stay healthy. And now they give him away for nothing. Do you know what's the most incredible thing about this situation? While Jerry Jones continues with his experiments in Dallas, paying $17 million to Tyron Smith when he can play 5 games per season, and the Eagles are still paying dead money for past mistakes. We got the best left tackle available on the market. The Texans are watching C.J. Stroud, their franchise quarterback, running for his life every snap, while we have our franchise quarterback protected by an elite wall. I believe that if the Texans could turn back time, they would think twice before getting rid of Tunsil. But in the NFL, there are no returns, no do-overs, and we are the main beneficiaries of their organizational incompetence. Peters saw the opportunity to acquire a premier player and seized it with the aggressiveness this franchise needed, but I'm going to give you historical context of why this move is so significant for our franchise. Do you remember the Kirk Cousins era? Good quarterback, decent stats, but he could never elevate his game because he was constantly under pressure. Robert Griffin III? The talent was there, but poor protection contributed to injuries that ended his promising career. Even Alex Smith, veteran leadership, couldn't overcome our line issues. Now I ask you, do you realize what it means to have stability at left tackle for the first time since Trent Williams in his good years? Because I'm telling you this, it's the difference between having real hope for sustained success and continuing to dream of maybe next year. Peters understood something fundamental about modern NFL success. You build from the trenches outward. Do you know who the last 5 Super Bowl champions were? Rams, Bucks, Chiefs, Patriots, Eagles. What did they all have in common? Offensive line stability that allowed their quarterbacks to operate in clean pockets. And now we have that foundation piece secured. Look, Commanders fans, we've talked about defensive frustrations that have me pulling my hair out. About Mariota carrying huge responsibilities while Daniels recovers. And about a brilliant decision by Peters that continues paying dividends every snap. But I'm telling you this with total conviction, after years of suffering as an organization. Watching other NFC East teams win division titles while we struggled with basic competence. We finally have real pieces to compete at the highest level. Does our defense have fundamental problems with tight ends that worry me? Absolutely. Is Mariota under immense pressure to keep us afloat until Daniels returns? Without a doubt. But do you know what we have that the Cowboys with their dysfunction, Eagles with their salary cap issues, and Giants with their organizational chaos don't have? We have an organization that's finally making smart decisions and building for long-term success. I believe this season will define if we've really changed as a franchise or if we're still the same old Commanders. The tough decisions coming in the next few weeks will show us if Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. can adjust that coverage scheme, if Mariota can maintain competitiveness until our franchise quarterback returns, and if Peters continues making moves that benefit us in the long run. Do you think Witt Jr. can solve the coverage problem before it costs us a playoff season? Do you trust Mariota to keep us competitive in the coming weeks? And what do you think of Peters' work compared to what we've seen in previous years of organizational incompetence? If you believe this defense can improve significantly, like this video. If you think Mariota can carry us to the playoffs, subscribe because we need to stay united as a Commanders family in these critical moments. And if you agree that Peters is building something special that has us hopeful about the future, share this video with other fans who need to hear this news and understand the bigger picture. This community is a family, and in good times and bad, we stay united supporting Burgundy and Gold. Subscribe so you don't miss a single piece of news about our Commanders, because I guarantee you that tomorrow we'll have more explosive analysis with breaking news that you can't miss. And remember, hail to the Redskins!